So, Chris, we spoke a little bit about biocomputers before. Can you talk a little bit of it? You said biometric computers. There are a couple of different types
Well,
of these things.
there is a blending of very much bleeding edge technology and information storage and information processing. I don't think that we want to talk necessarily about quantum computers and how they process information, or even the fact that now there is methods being developed that you can store an incredible amount of information on DNA strands and the like. I think that for the purposes of our conversation, we need to be thinking in terms of biometric authentication more than anything else. So how authentication looks like depending on the level of security of any organization or an individual is something you have, something you know, and depending again on the level of security and where you are, your location. So something you know are things like passwords and passcodes and information that only you would know and you could answer a question. Something you have is what's on your body, and what's on your body is biometric data. So you have fingerprints, you have retinas, you have face IDs, you have even DNA identification methodologies that you can ensure that Bob is Bob and Mary is Mary. The where you are we can detect relatively easy, either via a phone or with thousands of methods, where you physically are. So we can say that Mary can access the accounting system only from the United States, and if Mary is coming in from Tajikistan, then this is not a valid location that we accept access. And moreover, if we don't know what the location is coming from, then stop the access. So we can authenticate in a different way. But another way to look at authentication, you look at authentication in terms of a gateway to accessing systems. But in today's media world, right, you can look at authentication as the golden grail of where is my target audience. Because if you have a phone, by the mere fact that you have a phone in your possession, you're authenticated on the phone. So therefore, if I can monitor this phone device, and I can do this with Facebook, I can do this with Google, I can do this with any of the myriad free services, I know where you physically are. If I know where you physically are, I know what kind of advertising you're exposed to. I can push advertising to you based on your location. So you could be walking outside Saks Fifth Avenue, and just because you're walking outside Saks Fifth Avenue, your phone can be sent a message that says, do you know that Saks Fifth Avenue has a sale? Your phone is sitting with you on your dining room table and you're watching television and a commercial is hitting on television. The phone listens to the commercial, knows that this commercial is playing. If you're using the phone, it can match up this ad with the corresponding ad and so on and so forth. So now you're taking, you're taking advantage of an authenticated user, the authenticated user's location, and the authenticated user's environment to further custom deliver messages. So now you have an interesting conflict because you have a validly authenticated user using their own resources, but you are taking that information with not their explicit consent, with their implicit consent through the use of these free services, and then sending them advertising. So obviously there is a very large number of stakeholders that say, yes, that is a great idea and we want to make that happen because we need to push product out the door. And that's why this guy's getting the services for free, because we push product out the door. So what's not to love here? And there is other people that say, well, not so fast, because people with nefarious intents can go in and track your movements, know where your kids are, and so on and so forth. So it is a debate that we are not having enough of.
So let's turn to the nefarious aspects of cybersecurity, whether it's hacks, and in media it would be content hacks,
Right.
The use of bots,
Right.
Fake news,
Sure.
all of that. Talk about that.
So in cybersecurity, we essentially are dealing with attacks of one form or another. Attacks at their core have different motives. So if it is an attack about data exfiltration, namely let me steal your data, I will go in, I will compromise the system, I will find the data that I want, I will establish a foothold that can at times be for months, and then just exfiltrate all the data that I want. In the case of media, I can steal movies, I can steal plots, I can steal deals, I can steal everything that I want. It's data exfiltration. Why do I do this? I do this for money. I can also do this for spite, as in the case with the North Koreans and Sony, when Sony put out the film that was less than flattering to the North Korean dictator. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is where, for whatever my motive, be it a militant motive or be it a motive for money, or I'm a hired gun, I want to disable somebody, to disable their internet access, to bring their site down, to do things like that. Those are typically take the form of denial of service attacks. And there is a form of a denial of service attack where it's a distributed denial of service attack where so what does that mean? A denial of service attack is when you have a website or any media site. Think of it as a media site. It could be Netflix, right, which is streaming. So I can go and attack those servers in such a way that they get overwhelmed and they can no longer deliver the services that a legitimate subscriber is looking for. That's denial of service. A distributed denial of service is when this attack is coming from millions and millions and millions of places and you can't exactly just stop it. So how does that happen? That happens by hackers taking over computers and turning them into robots, that these robots then flood the internet, on a particular target with a denial of service attack. Now though, because of the Internet of Things, this computer no longer needs to be the kind of computer that's on your desktop. It can be any device that's connected to the internet. If you have an internet-connected toaster oven, I can hack it and I can send this kind of an attack to any target. If you have an internet-connected refrigerator, a nanny cam, anything that's connected to the internet, unless it is secured, it can be used as a device to be taken advantage on and create an attack.